Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's show. As you can see, I'm in the studios of Video Sign Incorporated today. It was snowing. It's lake effect snow here. It's crazy outside. So I said, the heck with this. I'm not going into the studio. I'm not going to be sliding around with all the people out there on the road and getting a wreck. So I'm here surrounded by my cats. See, I got my cats here, my nice kitty cats. And we're going to do the show right from here. This is show 446, January 7th, 2025, Trash Talking Tuesday. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice. And on this snowy day, not as bad as California, who's going to be getting 80 miles an hour winds, fanning flames for some possible wildfires. And John Beam, yes, I'm here. I don't have my headphones on. I don't need them. And you know what? I've got my pants on. John Ringo Beam always says, no headphones, no pants. So, yeah, sure, Johnny. Sure, Johnny. Let's move on here. Let's get into the show right now. But first, of course, we want to talk about our sponsors. We thank our sponsors. They sponsor the show. And of course, there's the ones that keep it going. And we ask everybody out there to support our sponsors and support the show. Come on, hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing to subscribe, not a dime. You get to watch me every day yelling and screaming. Subscribe to the show. Come on. Let's hit that button there. We want to get over 100. We're at 80 and change now. Let's get more. Let's get going. Let's get involved to make sure that everything works out. We got an election coming up in 2026 and other big things. Of course, we got Trudeau. He's going to step down. We haven't seen that yet. We'll be talking more about that later. But first, to our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Victoria Avenue, Pete's Pizza, and Hamel Machine Shop. Now, I look out here. Sometimes the sun out. Sometimes it's snowing like crazy. But I know one thing. My car is taken care of, and it's ready for winter. And I don't have to worry about breakdowns. And knock on wood, because you know what happens as soon as you say that. But so far, so good. And you can have the same results if you take your car to Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. He's going to go through your whole car and make sure everything's running tip-top so you don't break down this winter. You don't get stuck on the side of the road. You don't have to call CAA and wait forever for them, because you know what they're like. They might be here, they might not. You might be waiting there 2 or 3 hours. Call Wild Bill's Auto today. Get Ken Hunter to check your car over. And I asked Ken, I said, Ken, what do you see are the biggest problems in winter? And he goes, well, the usual stuff. I mean, dead batteries and that kind of thing. But that can all be resolved if you bring the car in and we do a battery load test and find out if it's any good. But he goes, the things I see a lot of are suspension problems. The suspension in this weather, you get water up there, you get ice and snow up there. It becomes stiff, and it really is hard on your suspension parts. Going around corners, you slide a little bit, and then you might hit a little bit of a dry patch, and that puts pressure on all your ball joints and everything else. So he goes, I see a lot of suspension problems. And of course, heater core problems where they have no defrost. You want to be safe. You want your windows clear when you're driving around. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls by the Kia dealership. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Ken's going to make sure your car's running tip-top. And if you get in a wreck, don't forget, they have a full body shop. They can fix your car and get it out of their shop in showroom condition, just like new. Support our sponsors. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and I'm sure you'll be happy. Okay, what do we got going on here today? Oh, man, there's always so much stuff, especially now in January, because this is budget time, and I've already started to go through the budget. The budget is out. Go to niagarafalls.ca and you can see it. The weather's crappy, so be careful when you're driving, please. We'll talk about the budget a little bit more in a minute. But I mean, we're lucky because Barrie and those places are getting hammered. We're lucky here. We got a little bit, but nothing major. So thank goodness for that. Now, did you know that Don Gorski, I don't know if you heard that name before, but he holds the record for eating the most Big Macs in a lifetime at 34,128 right now. And he's still going strong. He's been eating 2 Big Macs a day for 50 years, and he keeps every receipt and container from every purchase. According to his doctor, his cholesterol level is low, lower than average, and he's in perfect health for a 70-year-old guy despite the Big Mac consumption. Why does he do this? He loves Big Macs. That's it. He loves Big Macs. He wants 2 a day. He tried a Whopper once, and that's it. I can't eat a Whopper. I need a Big Mac. So he pounds down 2 of them. That's 1,080 calories a day from the Mac attacks alone. But he burns it all off, he says. So the next time you feel like indulging, don't worry about it. Enjoy. Just remember Don Gorski. He does. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing. Nothing. I just thought I'd tell you about that. Oh, and by the way, what I was talking about before, the operations budget, it's out for the public to see. You can find it at the niagarafalls.ca website, finance budget. I haven't had a chance to look through the whole thing yet. It just came out. I just got information that it was out, and I went there, and there it was. Councillor Lococo told me about it, and John Ringo Beam also sent me a link to it. So, yeah, I'm not the only one on top of this. There's other people in this city who are on top of it, and that's the thing about this show. We want you to be on top of it. Now, I don't know if you're going to go through all, there's like 200 pages. And the real one, the book, is probably 500 pages. But all we get to see is 200 of those pages, kind of like a summary of it. We can't drill down and see exactly what they're talking about. But believe me, I'm going through every page of the 192 pages, and I'm going to report back to you on what's in it. So don't worry about that. You know I'm going to do it, and I will. But for now, just check it out yourself. And if you go over it page by page, you'll see a lot of expenditures. I already have questions. Here's a preliminary comment. I mean, here we go again, right? The first thing I look for in the budget is the casino revenue numbers, right? Now, we don't know what they are for all of last year because the numbers haven't come in for the last quarter, but we know we're going to be around 24 million when it's all said and done. So I look in the operations budget under revenue, and it says casino revenue, and there's an entry for $14 million. $10 million less than we're probably going to get in 2025. Now, you have to understand what this does. This is creative accounting, and it puts more burden on the taxpayer because when they put those numbers in the revenue stream, right, it's $10 million short that we know we're going to get. Which means that we as taxpayers have to come up with the 10 million. I mean, if it's not revenue, then our expenses are going to outdo revenue. So that's 10 million less than we're going to get. So when you break down the numbers, right, and you see an 18% tax increase that we received over the last 3 years, 4.9, 7.9, and probably 4 or 5 this year, you say, well, why are we getting a tax increase when we're taking $10 million and not even adding it into the revenue? And you would have a great point. You would have a great point because that 10 million's there. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. So, case in point, revenue this year, 158 million. Expenses, 165 million. That's what they're projecting in the operations budget. So we're at right now a $7.5 million deficit. Now think about if they add the 10 million to the casino revenue. All of a sudden, we're at a 2.5% surplus. Okay, so we can't put the whole thing in there. Say they're right. We can't put 24 million in. We can only put 18 million in. Well, my thing is put whatever it needs to bring in a zero increase. If your revenue's 165, take 7 more million or 21 million in the revenue stream. Say that's what we're going to get from the casino and balance it out so the bottom line is zero. 165 in, 165 out. We've just We've just balanced the budget without fudging numbers. And that's what they're doing here. To make it worse, at the end of the year, they'll say, oh, geez, we saved another 10 million on stuff. And so what do? They spend it. We're going to save 10 million. We'll just spend another 10 million. And that's what they did in the capital budget. You saw the capital budget, right? There was 10 million there. So that they spent over and above what they approved for 2024. So now we're going into 2025. So this is the game that we see being played. And this has to stop. Somebody has to stand up and say, whoa, 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 whoa. We've got to be realistic with the casino number. And I don't even care if they put in 6 million and make it 20 million rather than 14. That's still only a deficit of like 6 million, 150, so what's 64, $1 million, right? Rather than being 7.5 million, which what I've heard, $700,000 equals 1 percentage point. So we could wipe out, have a zero tax increase this year very easily. And that's not even counting the other 80 million that I figure that's floating around. So it's very important you look at this budget, look at these numbers. You got 700,000 going to the innovation hub. We haven't seen the books. We don't know where the money's going. And then we have something else called the Small Business Investment Fund that's getting another 125,000. Well, I thought that's what the innovation hub was. So why do we have these two different things if the innovation hub is the investment part? These are the questions that our counselors should be asking, but they're not. So we have to. Kabish? Okay, enough of that. We're going to go into more of this. I'm going to be repeating this ad nauseum until January 21st when the meeting is, or 20th when we do our thing. Because it's important that all you people get in there, all the taxpayers get in there and find out what these chamokes are doing with your money. Don't let them just have a free blank check, free pass to do what they want. Remember, they work for you. You don't work for them. They work for you. You trust them with your money, and you expect them to do what's right. And if they don't, you know what you do? In 2026, you throw them out. You get rid of the whole shooting match if they can't handle money. You don't need this. We don't need this. So let's get on it. Let's get on it, everybody. That's what this show is about. It's about getting on it and getting you involved so you get on it. Over to viewer comments, and we've had a lot of viewers give comments and that. So I put a couple down here because they're interesting. And viewers, anybody who's viewing this video, please share the video with your friends. Get them involved. Get them to subscribe. Get them in the process here. We need more people. More people should be commenting, not less. We should have more people commenting. Encourage them to subscribe. It costs nothing. They'll get notifications so they know when a video goes up. Let's do it. Let's get people involved. So at Penny Brookify, she says, I agree with the bogus survey. What I say about the bogus survey, and I talked about the survey before. You can go to niagarafalls.ca and let's talk and see the survey, which is a bunch of baloney. I talked about it on my show. She says she did persevere and complete it with plenty of comments. Mostly what you mentioned, and I said, quit wasting our money, such as the wasted money on trails. And that was talking about the 13 million they want to spend on this NS&T trail they claim everybody wants. Baloney. Everybody wants their taxes to go down. They want you to be responsible with our money. They don't want another trail. We have Millennium Trail, McBain Center, Gale Center, 32 miles apart. We don't need another trail. And yes, so she says, McBain does indeed have a public walking track. I anticipate a bloated operations budget. I worked at the city for 5 years, so this is somebody who's worked there. And you wouldn't believe how much new management was hired during that time. That's the report council should be asking for. How many new managers have you hired over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years, etc.? Anyway, Mr. Lemire, wishing you a happy 2025 filled with delicious pizza. So, great comment. She knows I love pizza. And I guarantee I'm going to have some delicious pizza. And I won't be waiting till the end of 25 now. It'll probably be like in the next day or so. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. And yeah, the people in this city have a lot to look at and a lot to ask questions about. I know that Jason Burgess has only been there since 2020, I believe. So the last 5 years includes him, and the last 10 years includes going back to Ken Todd and what they did. So it's very important you get involved and look and see what your money's doing for you. This is why Penny Brookify has it right. What's going on? She pays attention. And I thank her for the well wishes. And I think the operations budget is going to be a whopper. I don't think any of the existing councils, save Councillor Lococo, are going to have too many questions for anybody. It was the mayor's budget. Remember, the mayor brings down the capital budget and the operations budget. It probably will be rubber stamped as usual. You saw what happened with the capital budget. Nary a question. It's a joke. And I don't know why the city spends time and money on useless surveys like the one they had. That would really set up just to brainwash people. That's all they do. And they lead you to the conclusion that if you don't pay more taxes, you're not going to get any services, which is baloney. These are leading questions that lead you to that conclusion, which is totally, totally false. Don't fall for it. They're a bunch of spendthrifts, these guys, and they have an easy time spending taxpayers' money. The question for them is, from me, if you had to take the money out of your own pocket to pay for things, well, how fast would you reach for your wallet to pay for a $25,000 concrete ping pong table? How fast do you think any of these councils would dip into their wallets to pay for this? I'm going to tell you how many. This many. None. Not one. But it's all right if it's your money. If it's your money, it's fine. They'll dip into your pocket. So come on, smarten up, everybody. Let's go. Let's hold these guys to the fire. Hold their feet to the fire. Don't let them get away with this crap. At 881 Slick, another comment. Even the Gale Center has an indoor track, and the truth be told, it's really nice. Yes, I've been to it. I've seen it. It is very nice. It's around the top of the building. And that's my point. We have a lot of places to walk. We don't need to spend another $13 million on another trail. I don't care what Victor Peterangelo says, Councillor Peterangelo, people want it. No, people want their taxes lower. They don't care about that crap. So forget about it. They can gaslight everybody all they want, but the truth is out there. At NDJM, another comment. Great show, and you are right. Why don't more people get involved? People have to stand together and speak up. And I talk about this all the time, to be honest with you. You got to get involved. You don't have to go down to City Hall and hold up a thing and protest. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just get involved. Just get involved. Be aware. Be aware of what council's doing with your money. If you don't like it, vote them out. And thank you for that comment. And the Iceman 69, of course. Crime scene, that's why. And, if you just saw that, you'd say, what the hell? No, what it is the Empire building burned down. And I commented on my show last week that there was a police car sitting there for 4 days, 24 hours a day, after the fire was put out and they were starting to knock down the building. And I was wondering why they would have a police car sitting there night and day for the amount we pay a police officer, and they can be doing other things like arresting criminals. Well, we could have a security guard just sitting there watching everything. But apparently he says it's a crime scene, which makes a good reason why they have the police guy sitting there. So there you go. There's your answer. I was down there when I was in the studio yesterday. I was looking around, and it was unbelievable that there were so many cop cars flying around. They're all over the place, but they're always downtown because there's so much stuff going on down there. Always something going on downtown. A lot of homeless, a lot of transients, a lot of stuff going on. So there you go. So that's that. That's that. That explains it. Oh, of course. The big news yesterday, Trudeau stepping down. Well, kind of. He promised he would resign, but really didn't. And his WEF, his cohort, the governor general, allowed him to cancel the January 27th reconvening of Parliament and start up again March 24th. So I think at which time this new party leader should be chosen. That's what he said. And he's going to resign as promised. Well, okay. Now, his excuses were many, but one, he said they couldn't run the country anyway because they were filibustering, and they were using the filibuster to delay stuff. So he asked the governor general to suspend parliament. Promises made, promises never kept by this guy. So what does all this mean? Well, a lame duck PM, he can't do anything until Parliament reconvenes, and that's March 24th. Now he delayed it. So nothing can be done. Nothing he proposed will come to fruition, which is a good thing. None of these wacky things he proposes are going to come to fruition. And really, no business will be conducted. Jimmy Dollywall will qualify for full pension before he's tossed out on his turban next election. And we sit here and wait. That's it. That's it. Jimmy Dollywall will make his February deadline for his full pension. So that's a favor to him. That's why he did it after March 24th and everything. Of course, Trump's having a ball with all this saying MAGA has forced Trudeau to resign. That his 25% tariff threat drove Trudeau to finally act. Justin Trudeau knew the 25% took him out and that Canada would be better as a 51st state. No tariffs, taxes would go way down, and Canada would be totally secure from the threat of Russia and China. Because they're always surrounding Canada, the Russians and the Chinese, with ships and planes and everything else. So they'd be a lot safer. We're going to be more secure for a 51st state. They did ask him about the Freeland resignation. And that was interesting, saying he begged her, I want you to be deputy prime minister and blah, blah, blah. You're going to be minister of this and blah. And she said, take a hike. I mean, she saw the writing on the wall. Everybody is wanting to distance themselves from Justin Castro right now. I mean, let's face it. Witchy Poo said, hey, you're the Captain Smith of the Liberal Party. And it's going down faster than the Titanic with you at the helm. I'm getting out. The rats are leaving the ship. That's what they say. That's the saying. The rats are leaving the ship. And that's what we saw. And he was stuttering and stammering yesterday. And I love this kind of, all the crap he always says. But 9 years, he never proved any of it. The jig is up for Trudeau. And now a new leader will be chosen. He'll probably he, being Trudeau, will probably head to Costa Rica and get away from it all. He loves going there. I don't think they can extradite Canadians that are on any kind of criminal charges. Now, what I'd like to see him do, if he was any kind of a guy, he would jump in a truck that's going down to Costa Rica to pick up produce. And the trucker could explain to this arrogant, silver spoon brat what went wrong with his government, because I still think he don't understand it. He thinks everybody loves him. He's really a narcissist, this guy. Now, that happened. He got in the truck and went with somebody. I want to be there. I want to hear this. I want to hear this. Anyway, we'll see what happens now. Just stand by. And while we're standing by, I'm going to talk about my second sponsor, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. And, I always, always, always love a good pizza. I'm a pizza snob. I do reviews on Restaurant Reviews Niagara. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good, but I'm always honest. And that's what that is. And Pete's Pizza stands up to being a good pizza. Believe me, Mike worked in an Italian restaurant. He knows how to make a pizza. He takes the Mancini family recipe and he builds the pizza using their sauce and their crust with cornmeal on it, of course. Cornmeal, very important. And he puts the ratio of cheese, and he uses Saputo, mozzarella, and brick cheese mix. That's what I do at home. He puts it in the right ratio to the sauce so you get the full flavor. Then he cooks it to perfection using fresh ingredients. You cannot beat a Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue Pizza. I can't speak for the other Pete's Pizzas because it is a franchise in the Niagara area. It's been around for 40 years. But the one on Victoria Avenue is the one. It's the real deal. So you got to go there. How do you get a pizza? 905-374-2222. But they're not a one-trick pony. No. They got poutine. They got steak and cheese poutine. They have steak subs. They have chicken wings. Wings are fantastic. They do them buffalo style, just the way I like them. Yeah. So if you're wanting a pizza, that's where you go. Victoria Avenue, Pete's Pizza. Open till 2 a.m. Friday and Saturdays. So you get back from a few wobbly pops, and guess what? Have a nice hunk of pizza. Also, I think they're open till 11 during the week, so they're open late. You can get a pizza anytime you like. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. You can go to petespizza.victoria.ca to order, skip the dishes, all the other ones, and or just give them a call. That's what I do. Call them up, 20 minutes, I got a fresh pizza. Support our sponsors. They support us. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And on we go. I'm going to have a sip of water here. Salute. So, we're up in Ottawa. Let's go over to Toronto, to Queen's Park. Colonel Ford doesn't want to be left off the front page, so not only is he telling Trump to get lost, Canada will never be the 51st state. No, he's adamant. He's sitting in a snap election now. Despite all the turmoil in Ottawa, he still looks like he's going to call a snap election. He said right now he's focusing on making sure the Trump tariff plan doesn't come to fruition. Most people are wanting him to commit to the fixed election date in the fall of 2026. But Merritt Stiles, the leader of the Socialist NDP party, says it's time for a change in Ottawa and it's time for a change in Ontario. Okay. She claims with rising costs, a housing shortage, a broken healthcare system, and a real threat to Ontario from tariffs, Ontario needs more cowbell. She's the one to deliver that right now. Ford isn't concerned with Stiles or an election right now. He wants to look Trump in the eye, tell him how bad these tariffs are for Ontario and for both countries, by the way, and then call a snap election. Stay tuned. The more these politicians deny something, the more likely it is to happen. And we all know that by now. So be ready for an election, snap election coming up. I don't know who's going to run in this area. We got the Frito Bandito. He'll probably run again for NDP. And I haven't heard too many names for the PCs. None that have been announced anyway. Liberals, I have no clue. I have no clue who's going to run for the Liberal Party. No, I wouldn't vote for a Liberal. Yeah, you got to be mentally unstable to believe in Trudeau and the liberal policies, the tax and spend policies. We've had enough of them. Never again, with any luck. So we'll see what happens. It's coming down. Check it out. You'll know because there'll be all this activity. Everybody's going to be talking. You'll see them. Don't worry. It's not. I don't think it's going to be that far in the future, to be honest with you. I think they are going to be calling an election. Okay, so in a shocker here, coming back to Niagara Falls, according to Ray Spiteri, ace reporter for the Review, last week's fire in the Empire Building, which was the third on that stretch of Erie Avenue in the past 13 months, by the way, fire officials have come to the conclusion the cause remains a mystery. Can't figure out what caused it. Oh yeah, there's still an active investigation into the Empire fire. But they cannot determine exactly what caused it. They don't know what lit her up, what fuel was used, and the circumstances surrounding the blaze. They say a lot of the evidence is destroyed in the fire. Exactly what an arsonist hope will happen. How about that? Now, the buildings themselves are owned by different numbered companies, all run by Hunter Milborn, a Canadian real estate developer. So probably were just pieces of a speculation portfolio that he would have. That would be my guess, waiting for the right time to develop the property once the city decided to revitalize Queen Street to the point it would make money for him. They gave him a call. Ray gave him a call. Didn't return the request for a comment from them. So I'm thinking, well, next up, what do we got next up down there? The old Lord Nelson Pussy Willow Inn Hotel Europa. That's ready to come down anytime. That's a piece of decrepit crap, too. Now, if the city had any bite to their bylaw bark, they just order it torn down. Why not? Get rid of it. It's an eyesore. It looks like hell across from the train station when people come in. And it's also a safety hazard. They tore down the Niagara Falls Arena because it was a safety hazard. This building, this your Hotel Europa, Pussy Willow Inn, Lord Nelson, it had a fire before. And it's got a couple floors that are really in bad shape. And the whole building is, for that matter. It's a safety hazard. Let's get rid of it. I mean, really, when you think about it, the city has no bark in their bite. I don't know why they just don't tear these things down. But even though the fire department won't say so, let's just put two and two together here. You got to put all the clues together. Downtown, old buildings known to be inhabited by homeless people, an extremely cold night, no beds and shelters for them, a record of homeless starting fires in other buildings in the city. I mean, okay, you don't want to blame it on the homeless, but what other conclusion can you come to? I mean, the only other thing it could be is somebody went in there and torched it for insurance money. Easier and less expensive than tearing it down with asbestos. But either way, another eyesore's gone, and whoever did it did something City Hall doesn't have the desire to do: make Niagara Falls beautiful again. That's right. Get rid of all this old crap. Make Niagara Falls beautiful again. Speaking of fires, and I saw that the Mulligan's Brick Bar in Buffalo burned like an Empire building last night. Yeah. Man, that bar was the scene of many a good time for Canadians. A lot of people went over there. I've been over there a few times. A wild time out on the town when you walked in the door. It was crazy in there. Order a case of splits. They brought the case out, set it on the table, got a bucket of ice, poured the ice in the case around the bottles, right in the cardboard thing. There you go. There's your beer for the night. Thanks for dropping in. Beautiful, beautiful, wackiest thing ever. Many a day after a headache, many a day, many a day after headache, if you headed to the Elmwood Strip in Buffalo, believe me, the historical people want to try to preserve a part of it, maybe the facade, the front of it, because it was built in the 1800s. And really part of the scene in Buffalo for a lot of years. But if you saw the images on Facebook of the aftermath, it's pretty well gone now. That whole building's pretty well done. The owners say it's coming down like today, and it's unsafe. Oh well, another icon in Elmwood bites the dust. We're seeing that here, and we're not the only place that are seeing that. But that building was open, and it had electricity and other stuff. So it might have been an electrical fire, or some short, or something, or leak that got into water. But these other buildings have no power. There's nothing there. They've been closed off for years. No water, no power, no nothing. So electricity didn't start it. There's something on the outside that started it. Somebody went in there and did it. So did you read about this left-wing whack job that sits on Grimsby City Council? He told Canadians who support Trump to leave Canada and go to the U.S. He claims that if you're Canadian, you should be unconditionally defending Canada and condemning Trump. Boy, this guy's got a bad case of TDS. Trump derangement syndrome. He's got it. He better get to a shrink, this guy. People don't understand. Trump is pulling Canadian chains. He knows there isn't a snowball's hell in chance that Canada is going to become the 51st state. Not in our lifetimes, anyway. It might be one day. I don't know. Can't predict what's going to happen in 50, 100 years. But I doubt if it's going to be in the next 4 years, and I doubt if I'll be alive when it happens. He's just busting Trudeau's balls. He knows that he's on his way out. And since he got a reaction from the TDS crowd, he keeps doing it. He just keeps egging them on. He wants to see what they're going to say, Canadians. It's a game. He does this with everybody. But this guy here on the Grimsby City Council is freaking out. He's freaking out. Now, his name is DeFlavio. He's really taken what Trump said to heart. He's totally bent out of shape. People in Grimsby are surprised by the councilor's statements, telling them if they like Trump, they should leave the country. And he uses fallen soldiers as his reason. Believe me, the rest of the city council are PO'd at this guy. They're calling his comments hurtful and decisive. Or decisive. They were decisive from him, but they're divisive to everybody else. Well, as well, he's out of touch with the rest of the people and out of touch with his duties as counselor. And the residents are right. And I keep saying this. City council's job isn't to get involved in geopolitical struggles, whether it's TDS and Trump, whether it's Israel, the Palestinian conflict, Ukraine, Russia, China, Taiwan. It doesn't matter. That's not their job. Councilors on city council or regional council, they should be getting involved with roads and sewers, crime, and keeping the city clean. That's what your job is. You're not there to raise flags to one country or the other, or let Palestinian terrorists in council chambers to protest what the Israelis are. Stay away from that crap. That's not what your mandate is. That's not what your mandate is. No flags. Don't raise flags for anybody. Get rid of them all. Then you don't have to worry about who hates who and who doesn't like this and who doesn't like that. A blanket policy. They're gone. That's it. Get rid of them. And it's all over. That's how simple it is. Stay away from these things. No more flags, no more anything. I mean, this guy needs a shrink. He has it really, really, really bad. Oh, I hear my cat. See? The video sign incorporated cat. Mr. Butters, he's calling. And I got his buddies over here. Oh, there he is. Now, let's get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Shop. Everybody has had a time around their house when something's broken, that's metal. And they're going, oh, what do I do now? This part of my lawnmower broke. Part of my bicycle broke. Whatever. What do I do? Where do I go? Well, now you know. Hamel Machine Shop is the place to go. They take care of all that kind of small stuff, but they also do industrial stuff. They have a full machine shop. They do it all. They have laser cutters. You know those nice signs with the address all scrolled in that? Oh, yeah, they can do that. They got the laser cutter to do that. Whatever it is you need, custom made, re-engineered, it doesn't matter. They can do it, and they have a 3D printer to do any kind of plastic or nylon parts as well. If you can't find a new part, you take the old broken part to them, and they'll fix it or they'll re-engineer it. That's how good they are at Hamel Machine Shop. I know when I wanted back gates for my house here, right? I didn't know where to go. So I had to find a welder and get them to fabricate. Hey, I could have just went to Hamel. I said, here's the design that I want, something like this. They would have made it, measured it, made it, welded it, got it powder coated, and probably helped me install it if I was nice enough to them. That's the kind of stuff they do. Big jobs, small jobs. They work with industry. And as my buddy Dave Wheeler said, his dad had a machine shop. They're critical to all the industries here because they have to take their equipment to get fixed and that kind of thing. Hamel Machine Shop is who does that kind of work. Now you know, hamelmachine.ca. Go see their website. See the beautiful work they do for wineries and everybody else. Don't say you didn't know. Now you know. Hamel Machine Shop for all your needs. And tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you if you do go down there. And also make sure that you support our sponsors. I'm laughing because my cat's going crazy. Make sure you support our sponsors. See, I'm a nice guy. I'm a regular guy here. I got a cat. Okay, now speaking of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, the vice president of the TDS party, Kamala Harris, had no choice but to certify the election yesterday. She tried to pull any stunts yesterday, she would have seen a real civil war in her hands. Believe me, there are people waiting for her to pull some stunt, but no, she couldn't. She couldn't. The choice for Trump was too overwhelming from every demographic in the country. Popular vote, House, Senate, White House. He did it all, and he did it fairly. She couldn't certify it. She couldn't do anything but certify the election. And outside the Capitol building, there were some mild protests as people remembered those that died on January 6th in 2020. And they had a tribute to Ashley Babbitt, was murdered by Capitol Police for no reason in the March on the Capitol event. And it was actually 4 years ago to the day, January 6th. But I had fun watching it. Because here's Kamala. If you watched her face, she wasn't impressed. As the states were called to read from the EC, their electoral college vote, with Trump winning almost every state. Needless to say, Harris wasn't impressed. She was bummed out. After certifying the election, which she had no choice, she gave some half-assed speech, about 2 minutes, about a peaceful transition of power, then crept off stage, hopefully never to be seen or heard from again. But I gotta admit, she has balls of steel because she's already hinting at a run in 2028. I mean, she doesn't understand why she lost. She don't get it. And how disliked she really is. Let her run. She'll be thrown out before Iowa, just like in 2020. Nobody in their right mind is going to back her. But then again, we're talking about the radical left, and they do support each other no matter what. So we saw that with Biden just a few short months ago, where they continually, along with the mainstream media, said that he was fine. He was sharp. He was on top of his game. At the top of his game, Joe Biden. He's unbelievable. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, George Clooney said he's done after the debate. He's done. And then Schumer and Pelosi and the rest of that gang of criminals got rid of him. And he's still mad about it. He's still throwing him under the bus. Even the other day when he was doing a speech, he said, I could have beat Trump. They threw me out, but I could have beat Trump. He still don't get it. He still don't get it. But he's, a little bit gagoots at this point. So, yeah, just the weird scenes inside the gold mine. And we still have another, what's today, the 7th, 13 more days. 13 more days and Trump takes over. And he's all right. He got his transition team in there. Actually, there's a rumor right now that he's set to buy Greenland. I know that's a rumor, but his son's there right now, and he's making a deal to buy Greenland. I know. Paul, you got to quit listening to these rumors, conspiracy theories. Listen, where there's smoke, there's fire. Vaccines were a conspiracy theory. Masks were a conspiracy theory. COVID was a conspiracy theory. And you know what? Everything we said about that came true. It all came true. Whether you like to admit it or not, it all came through. So today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's truth. Keep your eyes open. Greenland could be going to the United States, no matter what the people in Denmark say. He's going to make them an offer they can't refuse. So I'm going to end this off today with this beautiful piece of work right here. We haven't had enough strikes, have we? Have we seen? Is there anybody besides me who hasn't gone on strike this year? Now the college's faculty union wants at the public money. And they're saying they're going to strike to protect faculty futures. Baloney. They want more money. They want what everybody else wants. They want what CN, the post office, big car companies, CP, and Canadian Pacific and Southern Norfolk, or whatever it's called now, CBSA, the Border Security Agency, Parks Commission, CUPE, OPSU, OOPSU, DOOPSU, Planes, Mechanics, and any other union control company wants more money. How many of these strikes have we seen? Seriously. You talk about anything epidemic? This is a pandemic. This is epidemic. And here's my standard reply to everyone on or threatening strike. You're fired. You're fired. Go find another job. We'll get people in that want to work. You're fired. Of course, everybody thinks I'm wacky. Okay, I'm wacky. Now, the schools are crying that the feds have screwed their immigration plans by limiting offshore student visas. So, all these diploma mills, all these people who are operating on the premise of bringing in offshore students and getting big dollars, big money, big money. They're scam in the first place, most of them. What happened? These people came over. They never did register for the course. They got the student visa. The money was refunded if they did send any to hold a place for them. And they're wandering around Canada now, here for good, and brought all their family with them. So the institutions are crying. They're tuition suckers. They suck as much tuition out of people as they can. And they can really rip off the offshore people. So don't cry for me, Argentina. Those that cried the loudest already have the mostest, believe me. So they're crying about all this, and now they're going on strike. Going on strike. Never ends. Never ends. See where it goes, but guaranteed they'll be learning the hard way. And they're going to be leaning hard on the province to up the ante. Let's see who folds first. We saw what happened to the posties. We need more of that kind of thing in our lives. Yeah, you're not essential. Stay on strike. What do we care? Nobody cares about the mail anymore anyway. So we'll see what happens with these guys, but they should all be sent packing as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so that's about it for today. We're running on empty here. I've got to come back tomorrow with Habsolutely. All Habs all show a lot to talk about. If you're into the Habs, a lot to talk about tomorrow on the show. Absolutely, boy, they've been doing good. They're right in a playoff position hunt. Unbelievable. And then, of course, Straight Talk Thursday, we'll be talking more about this, what I've been talking about today. And finally, Friday this week, I have to try to get Bob Benson and Bob. Oh man, do I have his name right now? But Bob from a Hamill Machine Shop. Is it Benson? Oh my goodness, my memory's going, boys and girls. Old age is setting in, I must say that. My doctor gave me a clean bill of health yesterday, though. But still, sometimes I can't remember people's names anymore. Anyway, we're going to get him in here, the owner of Hamill Machine Shop. Tell us all about it. Interesting story from 1948. And finally, Friday, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but next week we get into the city council meeting, which is on Tuesday. Monday will be the show where we review the agenda for that day. And then a week later, Monday, we'll be doing the budget. And we'll see what the budget meeting brings on Tuesday. A special meeting for the operations budget for the city of Niagara Falls. I want to thank all my viewers for tuning in today. Thank you so much. Sorry I couldn't be live on 4680Q, but you know what? It's not worth driving around in this weather. There's too many wackos out there for me. Now it's stopped and it looks good, but when I sat down to do this, it was snowing like crazy here. Subscribe, please. Subscribe to the channel. Come on, let's all get involved and let's have a big party for the next election and make sure that we elect the right people. 27% turnout doesn't get you the right people. It costs you nothing to subscribe, so subscribe. Give us a like. Leave some comments. Agree with me? Great. Disagree with me? Great. I don't care. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Please support our sponsors. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Absolutely. That'll be out of the studio because I think this weather's just about done. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe out there. God bless you. And get out and shovel some snow. We'll see you later. Ciao, ciao.